Hello everyone. Hi. Oh, is my voice echoing, Samiksha?
Yes, yes. No, no, no. It's good.
It's okay? Okay. So, hello everyone. Once again, I welcome you back to the Satwa project and an online official platform designed by Satwa channel. My name is Samiksha.
My name is Samiksha Meshram, and we both are from the Satwa Youth. Satwa Youth is an official online platform of the Satwa project. So before beginning with our discussion, let me thanks to our streamer sponsor and media partners, Durian Asian and Durian FM for their constant and kind support, and also our broadcast director, Brother Chong, who manages all the technicalities in the background. Brother Chong, would you like to say hi to our audience, please?
Hi everyone, welcome to our broadcast this evening. Please do like and share so that more will benefit. And for those watching later on YouTube, please do like, subscribe, and share as well. All right, back to you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank
Brother
you, Brother
Song.
Chong.
Okay, so today we are going to have the commencement of a new series called Interbeing Series. And the topic for our today's discussion is the Miracle of Mindfulness, Remembering Thich Nhat Hanh, Part 1. So we'll have Part 2, Part 3 following. So before we begin our session, let me introduce to you today's moderator and speakers. So for today, our moderator will be Brother Calvin Onn Yee Han. Yes, Amiksha, you can introduce him to us.
Okay. So for our tonight discussion, the moderator is Brother Calvin Onn Yee Han. After years of practicing as a legal assistant and servicing in various societies and organizations, Calvin decided to embark on a full-time mindfulness teaching role as his interest has always been in working of the minds. In 2008, he co-founded the Journey Within Center with his wife. As a firm believer and practitioner in meditation since the age of 14, he has participated in various silence retreats around the world from many traditions under Theravada and Vajrayana meditation. Calvin also took intensive yoga trainings where he took the opportunity to immerse himself in Yoga Sutra Patanjali, the Bhagavad Gita, and Vedanta. Calvin believes we need to bring together both an Eastern traditional approach and the Western scientific or psychological approach together as an integrated approach. Calvin is also a fourth level trained instructor of mindfulness based cognitive therapy, which is accredited by the Oxford Mindfulness Centre, University of Oxford, UK. We welcome you as a moderator, Brother Calvin. You are muted.
Yes, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your introductions. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Sure.
Submit.
After our moderator, let me introduce to you our first contributor, Dr. Christie Chang. She's the advisor, event director, and dialogue coordinator of the Sattva project. She is also the joint president of International Buddhist Confederation. She is also the president of Sakyaditha Taiwan. She was the chair of steering committee for International Lay Buddhist Forum from 2014 to 2019. She was also the president of Sakyaditha International Association of Buddhist Women from 2009 to 2013. She was also the president of Hawaii's East West Center Taipei chapter from 2015 to 2017. She was also the director of Council on International Educational Exchange (CIEE) Taipei from 2001 to 2020. She holds her PhD in linguistics from the University of Hawaii at Manao. A warm welcome to Sister Dr. Christie on this program. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Christie.
Thank you, my two lovely sisters. And hello, good evening, Brother Calvin and everyone.
Okay, our next contributor of this program is Brother Sherab. So, Brother Sherab, as we all know, he is the co-founder of the Satwa project, and we are pleased to have him as our contributor today. So, his Chinese name is Wong Tsing Wei, if I have not pronounced it wrongly, or preferred to be called as Sherab. His Tibetan name, meaning wisdom, is a freelance writer, speaker, and translator. He has been working and translating for many spiritual teachers in various talks, retreats, seminars, and workshops since 1997. He shares his experiences and knowledge on various schools of Tibetan Buddhism, Zen, synchronicity, and basic principle in integral spirituality, as well as creative visualization through his meditation and spiritual workshops. We are
Thank
very
you.
pleased to have Brother Sherab today.
Thank you, Samisha Kamle and Samisha Bisham.
So our third contributor of tonight's discussion is Brother KV Soon. Brother KV Soon is an entrepreneur, digital transformation specialist, and activist. KV has been involved in corporate and socially engaged work for over 30 years. KV deeply appreciates the different aspects of social problems, and while there are issues needs to confront immediately, there is also those that require a longer term approach. These include transformational work on the grassroots as well as on the governmental, corporate, community, and individual levels. KV is the co-founder and director of Spirit of Endeavor, known as Vidyananda in the Buddhist circle. He previously served as secretary of the International Forum on Buddhist Muslim Relations (BMF). He is currently a member of the executive committee of the International Network of Engaged Buddhists. We all welcome you, Brother Kevin. Kevin soon.
Yeah. So I do thank you very much, sisters, for the introduction, and thank you. Nice to see everyone here.
Our fourth contributor is Brother Liao Meng. Brother Meng was graduated from University of Technology, Malaysia. He is now working as a professional engineer in an engineering consultant firm in Kuala Lumpur. He has been active in Buddhist activities since his time in university. After graduated, he has active in Buddhist Gym Fellowship and has held the post of the Deputy President. He started to be active in Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia since year 1992. He has held many portfolios in YBAM, including President, Honorable General Secretary, Deputy President, Vice President, Chairman of Training Committee, and International Affairs Committee. He has also represented YBAM to be the Secretary of Malaysia Buddhist Coordination Committee, known as Malaysia Buddhist Consultative Council, and Vice President of World Fellowship of Buddhist Youth. He is currently servicing at Buddhist Missionary Society Malaysia as Honorable General Secretary and YBAM as lay advisor. We are very pleased to have Brother Meng.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. Now we have got all the contributors on the screen. So now we hand over this discussion to Brother Calvin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your introductions. Welcome and good evening, everyone. Okay, before we start, perhaps as we know now, Ukrainians are suffering war right now. So maybe let us pray together with all of you for the people who are suffering in Ukraine right now. In our prayer, maybe it's, let us wish that violence be turned into love, oppressions to freedom, and peace of mind hopefully could be experienced by all. I'm really delighted and honored to be invited to join and share this forum with all our wonderful panelists right now. Today's topic is Miracle of Mindfulness, the Miracle of Mindfulness. Before I get started, I would like to take a moment to pay tribute to the late Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. And let me take a brief moment to share with all of you the short legacy of Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. As we all know, right, we witnessed his passing just about, I think, a month ago in January. We all already know that Thich Nhat Hanh was a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. He founded farm village traditions and engaged Buddhism. Today, we are going to discuss the 14 precepts of engaged Buddhism, main extractions from one of his Venerable books. Thich Nhat Hanh passed away at the age of 95 years old. I want to put a simple invitation to all of you to honor his life and to perfect the ways we understand his legacy. May I invite all of you to take a brief, maybe 60 seconds in noble silence to honor his life, honor the vulnerable life. We start now. Okay, thank you everyone. Tonight we have Brother Sherab, we have Brother KV, Brother Liao, and Sister Christine. Welcome all of you. Our topic is Miracle of Mindfulness. Perhaps why don't we start with the definitions of mindfulness? In mindfulness context, right, we all know different backgrounds often attract different interpretations. If we search the definitions of mindfulness in Google, the most frequent shown up result always come from the famous John Kabat-Zinn's definitions. John has defined mindfulness as the awareness that arises from paying attention from moment to moment, non-judgmentally, on purpose. So if we imagine that if we were to put these definitions to our late Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh himself, do you think will he agree to these interpretations? May I direct these questions or discussions to our brother Sherab, as you have a very rich background in Buddhism. How do you see this interpretation, brother?
For me, I think this interpretation is quite okay. It's quite practical, suitable for the modern world people. I think it's also a John Kabat-Zinn who popularized the movement or mindfulness kind of a movement or meditation. So I don't think Master Thich Nhat Hanh would disagree with this interpretation. But on the top of that, I would like to say also maybe Thich Nhat Hanh's kind of mindfulness has even more richer content and more dynamic kind of interpretation rather than this one. But I'm okay with this one as well. And also, Master Thich Nhat Hanh always emphasized that as a Buddhist, we should not attach to Buddhist ideas of certain things, Buddhist ideology, even the Buddhist interpretation of certain words. So I think, we should encourage ourselves to accept what it is now, as John Kabat-Zinn put it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, brother. Brother Sherab. So, do you have any idea? Would you mind sharing with us that what is the definitions of Thich Nhat Hanh's on mindfulness?
Me?
Yes, brother Sherab.
I don't remember Master Thich Nhat Hanh. Anybody can remember? Maybe Brother Liao.
Okay.
But I was thinking that mindfulness today is a lot of interpretation. Like I think Eckhart Tolle put it as awareness, and a lot of people say as a presence or present moment awareness or even wakefulness. I think there's many terms we use to describe the state of mindfulness. But I think it's just like the tea, the tea in the cup. Okay, so we give many names, we use many kinds of cups, and we like to say this cup is better than the other cup, or my cup is better. This is the only cup you should use. I think we should not attach to the cup so much, and most important is to use the cup to drink the tea. Yeah. So I'm okay with that interpretation. Yeah.
I agree with Brother Sherab that the mindfulness is awareness of the present moments. Be aware of the present moment. Actually, Thich Nhat Hanh in his talk or in his many of his songs, he like to say, what you call here and now. We are here and now. I think here and now is what Thich Nhat Hanh used to describe what is mindfulness.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How about Sister Christine? I also know that you have a rich exposure to modern mindfulness. What's your views about John's definitions of mindfulness? Is there any difference with yours
Mm.
or Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's?
Well, thank you, Brother Calvin. I agree with all those that have been mentioned. And as a linguist myself, these are all words anyway, right? And the essence of mindfulness is to be experienced, to be felt personally. Well, mindfulness has become such a popular word, thanks to Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. For the past 20 years, I've been running the study abroad program in Taipei. I receive American university students to study in Taipei, and all the students are very familiar with this word, mindfulness. So I would say that you know Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh has really, really made such a great contribution to the Western world, with this teaching of mindfulness, and John Kabat-Zinn for sure as well. I think he is a very important teacher for us to be thankful for. And I think that it's great that this word is being used, in our lexicon, so that it's made possible to talk about it. But essentially, like I just mentioned, it's it shouldn't just stop as a word. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Christine. I think I like your words, essence of mindfulness, which is to be experienced and to be felt. This is very important in our practice. Thank you so much, Sister Christine. Thank you. Uh, okay. So, what about Brother Liao? Do you have any ideas on the definitions of mindfulness? Maybe you
Have
can
I
share.
mentioned, have I mentioned earlier? So
Yeah.
I refer to Te or Thich Nhat Hanh on this the phrases that he like to use is here and now. I think he most of the time he used here and now to refer to mindfulness, and I totally agree with Dr. Christie just now that these are all words, so we have to
Okay.
put into the practice. So actually, there is one of the master that emphasize a lot on practice, not just theory. In fact, he's not very keen to attend seminars or conferences. His focus mainly is on mindfulness training, basically something like a retreat, this kind of functions.
Thank you, Brother Lia. It seems very interesting to me. Almost all of you have a consensus on the definitions of mindfulness. It's, the essence of it is to be experienced, and it's very important in our practice. Also wondering if how non-mindfulness audience or practitioners out there who is listening to us right now, assuming that they are listening, will be inspired to practice after listening to all of your stimulating opinions or discussions. What would they think about mindfulness, the definitions of mindfulness? Maybe seeing from perspective of someone's completely new or completely a beginner to mindfulness idea, what will they think? Maybe they are more interested in the word miracle rather than the topic of mindfulness or definitions of mindfulness. Uh, I'm very curious also to hear what Brother Kevi says about the topic today, the miracle of mindfulness. How do we draw the correlations between mindfulness and displaying mindfulness as a form of miracle? As we all know that, right? Mindfulness is something very plain, very boring. But whereas miracles, we always think about something uh, about healings, miracle angels, something very special. Uh, so how will you describe mindfulness as miracle? How do we reconcile these two definitions or these two words?
Thank you very much for the question. It's very interesting, and I, I I think um, the definition of mindfulness is the words. Tay has always said, that his definition of mindfulness is able to focus on the breath, and while doing focusing on the breath, you are able to know, acknowledge the thoughts that's going through your head at that time. Going through our minds. During that time, as you are aware of your breath, right? And the definition is very easy. I think you Google, you will find it everywhere, right? The words, right? But as Dr. Christie has mentioned, I do agree that the experience is different. There's a challenge. You try to sit down, close your eyes. The mind is amazingly busy. And in our social media fed urban world, we are extremely busy. If you are not flipping the handphone with our finger, we'll be doing something. So, and this is even more important. The word miracle is even more important. The miracle of mindfulness is the ability to really sit down, for a period of time, to be able to catch that breath and understand what's happening in the thoughts that's going through our being, as it were. And to me, it doesn't stop there. Okay. And the miracle to me is, my opinion is that it changes your life for that moment. If you're feeling very angry, very upset, with something, and if you're able to hold and watch that breath and catch the thoughts that goes into your mind, and your mind change from an angry, uh, busy person, and that moment you become calm and your anger disperses. And I think that's miracle. And that is also, if I reflect on the Buddha's teaching, he said the Buddha's the biggest miracle is miracle education, and education is about transformation, right? And that's what we need to think about when we reflect on Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings and on mindfulness. Not the text, not just the experience, but the transformation of the self. Right? And when we transfer ourselves, we want to make that transformation transform society. And if that transformation moves to transform society, and I think that's really the miracle we need to look for. And if I may just extend a little bit, um, that is what he meant. I think what he meant by this engaged Buddhism, because he's the person that actually coined the term engaged Buddhism. Right? So we engage ourselves through our breath, ground, and we engage ourselves with society, and we make that transformation of holistic, positive change. And that's what we need to aim for. So I think that's the miracle that we aim to achieve, or strive to achieve.
Thank you, brother KV. I'm really attracted to your words that you say, the ability to sit down and changing our life thereafter. Well, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Thank you, brother KV. Okay, what about brother Sarat? Any sharings?
I think about miracle of mindfulness. I think if I'm not quoting him wrongly, Thich Nhat Hanh used to say that the miracle is actually not to flying in the sky or walking on water. Miracle is to walk on this green earth, this beautiful earth of ours, and dwelling deeply in this present moment. And having our appointment with life and totally engaged in this moment. I think that is the miracle that Thich Nhat Hanh meant. I think as a Sufi mystic, Rumi once said, what you seek is seeking you. If you are looking for a miracle, why don't be the miracle that you are looking for? So fully engaged in this present moment, and be miraculous. I mean, to be totally present with this moment itself is the greatest miracle of life, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, to be mindful of that and be the miracle they are looking for. I think that for me is the miracle of mindfulness.
Thank you, Brother Sherab. Well, so very good definitions of miracles. So, yeah, it seems like we do nothing, but we accomplish everything. We are not looking for that, and then the miracle is looking for us, going
You
after
know,
us. Thank you.
there's a Zen saying, sitting
Uh-huh,
there doing nothing,
uh-huh,
and
uh-huh,
the grass grow green by itself. The spring come and the grass
uh-huh.
grow green by themselves. Yeah,
Yeah, very well
yeah.
said. Thank you, thank you. So we now
Yeah.
roughly know that miracle means no miracle. Okay, brother
May
Liao,
I?
yeah,
Christy, yeah.
yeah, Christine, sister Christine, you may share
Yeah.
right now.
Yes, I think the simple fact of being alive is a miracle.
Mm.
And a lot of times we're not really mindful of that simple fact. Well, this afternoon, earlier this afternoon, I was watching this new documentary entitled "Downfall" of the Boeing accidents on Netflix, and it was talking about the two serious aircraft crash back in 2018. The first one was in Indonesia, Jakarta, and then suddenly I recall, wow, I had been like flying like crazy in 2018, 2019, and then 2018, the documentary started talking about the crash of the Lion Airline in Jakarta. Wow, I took Lion Airline. So it was not until that moment I thought, oh, gee, such a miracle. We are still alive. I'm still alive. I didn't, I was lucky enough not to have taken the plane that crashed. That thought, I mean, that miracle was right there, being alive. So I just want to share that with all of you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, sister. Well, okay, so yeah, I always heard people say that when our stomach is full, everyone can meditate. The essence is how to bring mindfulness, hunger strikes. I think Tibetan always say this, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Sarat. So, yeah, from the 14 precepts of engaged Buddhism of our late Thich Nhat Hanh, uh, in particular, number four, he say that do not avoid contact with suffering or close our eyes before suffering, and do not lose our awareness of the existence of suffering in the life of the world. When people speak of suffering, what usually come to your mind now, our challenges and adversity all suffer as a result of this COVID pandemic, and awareness is the practice that pull us through the thick and thin nowadays. I like to hear from brother Liao. You have been active in Buddhism's society as well. So, to you, when the pandemics that we are facing right now, so does it give us more opportunity for practice, or does it make it more difficult and challenging of our mindfulness practice? Is it an opportunity or is it a difficulty when we tremendously suffer from the effect of COVID right now?
I would think it give you more opportunities to practice mindfulness. You have more chances to ponder about suffering, and actually, especially during the MCO times, you got more times you to do practice, and then as we are here in what I call in Buddhist PMSM, during the pandemic time or during last year during the MCO times, we have done a lot of these online programs with uh, Pandey Mahinda. So we reached out to a lot of people. We thought at first we thought during MCO there's this what I call movement. What you call it earlier?
Movement control.
A movement control. So we thought we can't reach out to people, but instead it's the other way around. During that MCO times, we reach out to more people, even throughout the world. There are a lot of overseas participants in our this online program, where we do this meta meditation online, and then we have monthly, even weekly activities. We have very good response, even then better than our physical events, which are limited by what I call the physical appearance. Because, for example, today we have Dr. Christie. She's actually currently in Taipei. So with these online events, we have break down all these boundaries. We can through this internet we can gather even more people. So even for the 24-hour metas event that we have held annually, for the last 2 years, which we have conducted online, the participants actually increase. We have more participants, and then we reached out to more people, and then come back to this mindfulness. I think during these last 2 years, many of us have this experience. Either your friends or your relative or even your family members have got this disease. Some have passed away. So you have more uh, first-hand experience on this suffering. So I think it's actually give us more opportunities to do our practice. This is my views. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Liao. I think you are right. Without this pandemic, I think we didn't have a chance to discuss via our virtual platform. Okay. What about Brother KV? Since you have been actively engaged in society and Buddhism's activity.
I think, thank you. Whether the suffering allows us to think differently and forces to rethink our lives is obviously a motivation. But what is more important, I want to draw the situation that it is not one side uh, that makes a change. It's not one person. There is the internal condition as the external condition. My question is really there's suffering out there, and people are starting to question the norms, and question their own lives. Right? But what make them change? What make them go through a transformation in life? What makes them, start to be more engaged in mindfulness, right? And the question really is, what are we doing? Those who have the ability and the reach to reach out to people and say, look, this is a opportunity. This is a chance to reflect, right? So what Brother Liao has mentioned, I'm quite inspired by what Brother Liao said, and also to many other organizations who have done that, who reach out, who use the opportunity to reach out to people, right? And I think the essence of the 14 precepts really is about reaching out, and being engaged with the society, being engaged with the people, to kind of understand the pulse, the being mindful of the pulse of the society, so that we can guide, and offer our knowledge, and our wisdom at whatever stage our wisdom are, so that we can help people change their lives. The idea is embedded around, very big, very fundamental, practice of compassion and loving kindness. So I think we all need to go back to roots, and I'm quite inspired also to hear many stories that people have gone through that and reach out to make the change. So it's condition, cause, and condition. So there are cause, there's the condition. Are we able to intervene? So intervening with people in a positive way, intervening society in a positive way is what we need to take the practice of mindfulness, from our engagement to the societal level. And I understand this is what the late Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh would have wanted lah. So allow me to share an inspiring story about Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. Okay, he wasn't just about a monk teaching mindfulness. In the height of the Vietnam War, he actually formed, of course, the order of Interbeing, and one of the ordainees, the monks, actually who kind of burned himself and sacrificed in meditation, burned himself to express this their suffering came from them, came from the order. This is the sphere of influence of his teachings. And when the boat people, I think if we are of a certain age in Malaysia and Singapore, you probably have heard of the boat people, the refugees that forced to leave Vietnam. And countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore at that time didn't want to have anything to do with it. We would just, our countries would just push the people back to the ocean and say, okay, we are not offering a solution. Don't bring your problem to us. So same, and Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh was in Singapore at that time. He actually had operations. He had a team to actually go out and work with the fishermen and all that, to give food, to support the people, and bring into Singapore and secretly take them to the embassies that would support them, climb over the wall and get help people, seek asylum, seek refuge in those countries, rather than letting them go back to the seas. And if this is not compassion, I don't know what it is, right? But what I'm saying here is that the challenge is there, the suffering they have gone through, but they have the people on the boat have no means. They recognize that they have no means to change unless an external factor come in, right? So that external factor was Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh and his operations, who brought the boat in secretly at night, got them into the streets, going to the embassies, and smuggled them in and got them to safety. So it's both sides. Okay, we have to allow ourselves to recognize that suffering or conditions around us will make us change, but sometimes external inspiration, external help, can make that change happen. And many a times we need to be the external help to go out and make that transformation. So just sharing that story. And thanks for the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kevi. Thank you very much. I think both of you, Brother Liao and Brother Kevi, both also say that this is an opportunity for all the practitioners, mainly because of the reaching out to more populations, bringing mindfulness to more people. That I think could be both of you have a strong background on social activist background. What about in terms of personal practice? I mean, while we are practicing mindfulness, right, in terms of my personal capacity, do you think that this pandemic bring us opportunity or difficulty? Brother Sherab, may I hear your views?
I think it depends on individual, like what Brother Meng said, that we have this opportunity during this pandemic time, during the MCO, we have the internet sharing, we can share everything, ideas, and having meetings in internet through Zoom or through StreamYard. This is a wonderful opportunity to interbe virtually, with each other. But like internet has no boundaries, but sometimes I think human ignorance also have no boundaries, like Master Thich Nhat Hanh has been an activist since many, many years ago, but now fast forward today, that we still have war in Ukraine, So it depends on whether we wake up or grow up or not from the suffering that we are experiencing, from the suffering, the death, impermanence that we are facing. Whether we want to wake up or not, that is the choice that we need to make if we are aware enough the reality that we are in now. So, like Albert Einstein say, we can treat everything as a miracle or everything is just nothing, not miracle. So there's a choice that we need to make every moment and in every days of our life. So I think it's the choice created by the mindfulness is what we need to have. And to create awareness about the importance of mindfulness practice, it's also something that we need to do, and we need to always remind ourselves and others, being mindful of this present moment, be here and now, arrive or coming home to ourselves, to our own innermost being. I think that's the thing that we can. I remember Master Thich Nhat Hanh say, "Peace is every step," and peace begins from ourselves, from our heart, from our innermost self. So that is something at least we can do, inside out, and one by one we can perhaps create some rippling effect to the world, and at least we can bring some vibes of peacefulness to the people around us, to the building around us. So yeah, and then we start from ourselves and slowly, and we connect. We need to team up. Wake up and drop is one thing. Also, we need to team up with like-minded people and to spread the awareness and the message of mindfulness. Team up and then wake up, grow up. And when injustice happen around ourselves, around the world, or injustice happening somewhere, is injustice happen to all over the places. So we need to speak up sometimes. Yeah, stand up and speak up. Actually, altogether 7 ups, but I don't forgot about others.
I know exactly.
You know exactly. You are
Yeah.
that as well. Is to grow up, wake up, and speak up, stand up, and then team up, and then something like that. Yeah.
Then thank you, brother Sherab. Yeah, you remind me of the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's words. Peace is every step. So I think so. You term it as opportunity for our practice as well. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What about Sister Christine? Sorry. I'm also curious. How do you see
Yeah.
mindfulness fitting in your practice when people are suffering, say, in pandemics?
Yes, I agree what our brothers have said, and especially like Sherab, peace is every step, peace is every breath, peace is everything we do, right? So in all the actions we take during the pandemics, actually we might have found ourselves even busier, like brother Liao was saying, with the convenience of the internet gathering, right? I thought I could have been like, less busy, but actually, there are, all these invitations fluxing in, and all these. It's not just the pandemic. Think of the war too, right? In the past few days, so many things are taking place, and what's happening with us, like this morning I found myself like, wow, there is a chaos going on with so much information, and you need to stop, and you need to breathe, you need to take time to breathe, to come back to yourself. So I think it's the awareness, any moment, at any present moment. We need to remember to check. We need to have that awareness. This pandemic time actually presents an opportunity. There's no escape. You just have to face it, and then mindfulness practice comes very handy if we have been engaged in that practice. We are able to activate, to stay aware, to stay alert of our own personal situation. So I consider this pandemic time, despite the suffering for so many, it's a great opportunity, a great reminder for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you to Sister Christine. Yeah, having say or discuss or in personal capacity, I'm also curious about the what those guru think about mindfulness in during the period of pandemic. When we are suffering during pandemic in fear or in desperations of everything to get over soon, I often think about how the so-called high enlightenment guru manage their suffering. I mean, I believe all of us have followed some gurus or follow some teachers in our practice. Do you all think that guru have suffering like us too, or how do they manage their fear or their worries? How are they different from us when dealing from with suffering and building their resilience and their coping skills? Yeah, I'm indeed curious about that. Maybe perhaps any one of you could enlighten me on this from your experience or from your guru's point of view.
Kevin, there are two types of gurus nowadays.
Okay, okay.
One,
This.
one type is the real gurus. One type is the
Okay.
fake gurus. I don't know if the fake gurus are suffering or not now, but we are suffering because of the fake guru sometimes. Most of the times. But the real guru, like I remember Master Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my friends tagged me in the Facebook today. He said that Thich Nhat Hanh during one of his sessions, I think his Dharma talk,
Mm-hmm.
he became emotional. I think due
Yeah.
to some question asked by the audience, he became emotional.
Mm.
So he just feel that there's a need for him to calm himself down. So he walked away. He walked outside from the
Yeah.
hall, and then he go up to take a breath and calm himself down, and then bring his mind back to this present moment awareness. And then after calming himself down, he go back to the hall and continue his Dharma talk. So I always see some um, ordinariness in great teachers and great gurus. Like, for example, for me, I think Thich Nhat Hanh and His Holiness the Dalai Lama is like the sun and the moon of Buddhism, you can call that. And so I think I see in this kind of people, so-called great beings or enlightened beings, they have a quality of ordinariness. They don't show off. They don't try to present themselves as extraordinary or to be special or to compare themselves with others to be greater than other people. They're always very ordinary. And this kind of ordinariness reminds ourselves that we can be like them as well. And they do not lose the human aspect. They are always very humorous, very humble, yeah, and they are very juicy, light-hearted, juicy, and very lively, and full of energy, full of laughter and lightheartedness. I think this is what we can learn from them. I think real guru also not necessary to be a guru with titles and high thrones or good names. Yeah, I think real guru, if you know how to, there's a Chinese saying, treat people. If you want to treat people, there must be one guru among them. You can learn from these people. Can be a dog, can be a cat, or yeah, can be a victim of the war in Ukraine now. Yeah, can be anything, anyone. Yeah, so try to learn from anything in our life. I think that's the best. Our experience is our best guru. I think. Yeah.
Thank you, brother Sherab. So, well, interesting. Yeah, perhaps let me hear another one speaker's view about this. Anyone's about the example of guru or the view of guru. Anyone? From your knowledge, what are the example of those guru coping during pandemics? What are their ways and their practice, especially in supporting their teaching and missions and visions in their disciple worldwide? Are you aware of any inspiring example? Maybe
During the
brother.
pandemics, especially, you want to say,
Yes,
brother
yes.
Calvin?
During pandemics, yeah. During pandemic, have you seen any guru? They are able to cope with these um, challenges, and they are doing
Well,
well. Yeah,
okay, all right. Yeah,
please.
actually, following brother Sherab, I was already thinking about the example of Venbo Thich Nhat Hanh walking out of a session and then coming back after dealing with his own emotions, right? And then brother Cheryl also mentioned how gurus are actually human beings, right? Blood and flesh. And I always enjoy being with, for example, the Venerable Jitsuma Tenzin Palmo. And I believe it's during the pandemics that she proposed an extra paramita, in the Mahayana Chinese and also Vajrayana tradition, we talked about the 6 paramitas, right? But then Jitsuma, during the pandemics, actually proposed the 7th paramita. She said humor. Humor has to be the 7th paramita. We gotta have a sense of humor, perhaps especially during this very challenging time. So I think I could use that as an example, if that answers your question.
Yes, thank you, Sister Christine. So you mentioned about humor, and Brother Serap mentioned about ordinariness. I think both of these quality or elements are very important. We can learn from those guru.
I
Thank
would
you,
like
both
to
of you.
mention. I would like to
Yeah.
mention Ajahn Brahmaranso as well. Ajahn
Ram.
Brahm. Yeah, he coins
Mm-hmm.
the word. He coins the word
Mm.
Karuna virus instead of coronavirus. So during this time of coronavirus, we need to spread more Karuna virus. I think this is a very creative
Mm.
and
Yeah.
very creative expression of Dharma, of inner
Okay.
experience. Yeah, it's quite good way to spread the Dharma and the awareness of being kindful. Yeah, kind and
Thank you.
mindful at the same time. I think
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, the word kindfulness also come from Ajahn Brahm.
Ajahn Brahm.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think we pause for a while because I read one questions from our audience. Maybe
Brother Chong can share, but yeah, that's there.
yeah,
Mm.
It's on the
I
screen.
can read
Yeah,
it out. I can read it out.
yeah, yeah.
Mindfulness. The questions. Mindfulness with thinking cannot be miracle. Just another conceptual view. May I know witnessing without mindfulness, considering the considering the as a miracle. Okay, can you understand the questions?
This is a question or statement. I don't know.
It's a question from
we
Tom
gotta
Pro.
practice the heart of understanding in this case, yeah.
Okay.
Mindfulness
Maybe
with thinking.
yeah cannot be miracle. Maybe it means we practice mindfulness with thinking. Can it be a miracle, or can it be another conceptual view?
Oh,
Is
But
either
one
this
thing, one thing I can agree is on the conceptual view. I think whatever we discussed tonight, they are all conceptual
Mm.
views.
Yeah,
mm,
yeah,
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 yeah.
right.
Until you put it in practice, breath in, breath out, and wash
mm.
your breath, then you will really practice mindfulness. Whatever we discuss is all words, and when it comes to words, they are all conceptual views. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a matter of what happened to ourselves, right? First, there's a
Mm.
conceptual level, then there's the experiential level.
Yeah.
But really, I always like to talk about the transformation level, right? We can
Mm.
sit for the last 20 years, come out, same level of anger, hatred, and so on. I think being true to ourselves, you will know, right? If you have changed, and are you happier? Are the people around you happier because you are around? You know, I think there's some gauge that you might like to think about and reflect. So how have we become a better person to ourselves, our minds? How have we become better people to the people and the beings around us? Are we treating them differently? Are we treating them better? Do you feel that is our engagement, our communication becoming better, or are we feeling more afraid, or maybe we feel more below, more I'm more enlightened, I'm more mindfulness, I'm better than you. I think it's something that we need to think about. It's about us. The guru's role is to inspire us to wake up and say, oh, damn it, I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't think of that. I need to better my practice. And I think that's the role of gurus coming in, right? So let's, we can debate about the question, whether is it a concept or is it a question or is it a statement. But I think it's the question I'm going to throw back to the person who asked this question, also to ourselves, to be very fair. Right? How have we changed? How are we becoming a better person? How are we closer to the 6 or 7 parameters that we are talking about? Are we drifting away from them? I think it's a lot of reflection, and that reflection is mindfulness, to a great extent, in my view. And that's how I would like to interpret, and how I would, hopefully, if I'm good at it, inspired by and internalize Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings of mindfulness in my own life. I can't say I'm perfect, but I think we strive for perfection. We take steps to be better and better every time. Where are we? So I think this reflection needs to continue, as long as we engage in our practice. Yeah.
Thank you.
So those are my thoughts. Yeah.
Thank you. What about others? It seems like our audience are very much interested in the word miracle.
I think for me, I think whether conceptual thoughts and views will become the obstacles of our practice or not, it depends on whether we can utilize it as a path. If you are really skillful in your meditative state, you can utilize anything as a path, including your discursive thoughts, including your conceptual thoughts, including your ideas and thinking. So this is where Buddhist philosophy comes in, and you can be very analytical, and that can be utilized as a path for awakening as well, if you know how to use it. But if you don't know how to use it, even a great state of bliss and joy during meditation can become an obstacle as well. So it depends on whether we can utilize it as a path to transform ourselves, like our brother KB Sun said. The key word is here is transformation. Yeah, not the thing itself. The thing itself doesn't bring goodness or bad things to us. It depends on how we use it. Whether we can use it as a path. If we can use it as a path, then we can be mindful or awakened. If we cannot use it as path of being used by that, then we are controlled by our emotions and conceptual thoughts. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Sherab.
Yeah.
Very well said. Yep.
Just want to jump in on just a reflection also.
Yep.
I think you talk about pandemic, right? We handle problems, challenges differently, right? I think handling with mindfulness is, of course, the most ideal way, where we understand the state of the suffering or the dukkha we're going through, and how do we become better, right? And but sometimes the teachings allow, sorry, not the teaching. Sometimes the situation allow that we generate a lot of fear, uncertainty. We go back into hole. And I want to reflect a little bit on, in terms of concepts, and the first precept of the 14 precept, 14 of the views. If you are active in Twitter, news, any social media, you cannot ignore the fact that the world is quite divided. People who believe that coronavirus is real, people who believe coronavirus is not real, people who believe the vaccine works, people that believe the vaccine is a huge conspiracy, right? Okay, I respect all decisions and all views, right? Okay, but the challenge here is that some people have taken these views and so strongly that they have become very angry, very negative. It causes a relationship to break. You know, you can't even be friends. Because I have a different belief, right? And so I shared a little post in my Twitter once, and it generated a lot of private messages to me, very angry people, right? Because when we don't understand what we are facing, right? We want to overcome this pandemic, but we attach a lot of views. I think the biggest mindfulness today that we can practice is to know that we are engaged with views. I didn't say wrong views, I didn't say right views. We are engaged in views. And that's the first
Multiple.
precept. Yeah. And the second is understanding that these views change, you know, right? It constantly change. But if you hold on to it, is what makes us continuously to be angry, to be divisive in our communication, and our society become very separated. So that's one big worry I have. If I may, I just want to share this reflection that coming out on a discussion on concepts and words, and this whole transformation. And I know that late Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh is very concerned about society, war, conflict, peace. And we are seeing all this happening right in front of us, you know. And what are we doing? How can we intervene and find spaces for compassion and mindfulness to come in? It's something that I'm trying to think about, and I don't have the answers, but it's sad to see what's happening in our society today. Brothers don't talk to sisters because they have different views on vaccine. Your families become broken. So I think these are the realities today that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I think mindfulness Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching of mindfulness is a great reminder that we just need to stop, and just go back to our breath, acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the ignorance, acknowledge that this is new, that we need to deal with it together with a calm and peaceful mind. So I think this is my reflection of Remember Thich Nhat Hanh's 1 and 2, the first two precepts, as we see what's happening in society now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just share that
Thank
with
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with you. Thank you, Brother Kevin. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, if you read on the precept number 8, do not utter words that can create discord and cause the community to break. Make every effort to reconcile and resolve all conflicts, however small, from Thich Nhat Hanh's book. Okay, let me ask all of you, right? As we all know, right, gurus are not alone. They have a big community support. And I also want to talk about how these communities manage certain challenges within their community or their groups, internal groups. Okay. Um, Let us discuss in the perspective of coming together as a community, and what do you think about those guru? How do they resolve the internal conflicts or arguments within their community? Because where there is a human, there is a conflict. I believe Buddhist society is not accepted at all. And since all of us here are Buddhists, so I would let you go without saying something. I'm all ear now. So all of you have a very colorful and active background in Buddhism community. What do you think? How Buddhists resolve disagreements? Um, how do we handle relationships among our Sangha, our brother and sister in the community? Yeah. Perhaps Sister Christine, please.
Do women disagree more That's why you are pointing me to answer this
Absolutely not.
question first.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm just curious. I'm kidding. Yeah. Anyway, of course, humans disagree, right? And then it's wonderful that you already point out Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's you know one of the 14 precept. I believe that has developed from the Buddha's precept for his sangha, you know, not to create more disharmony. There are the 6 harmonies, right, that the Buddha has given to his sangha, and one very important precept is about words. You're pointing again, like to a linguist too, how words have power to divide a community, to hurt, to harm. How do Buddhists deal with that? I think the Buddhists traditionally have tried very hard to avoid anything, especially maybe in the Chinese Buddhist society, to avoid any disharmony, not to comment, not to speak too much uh, about anything that's controversial, rather, to stay quiet, right? So that no further disagreement or disharmony is caused as a result. However, I personally do not think that's a very healthy method, because we cannot expect to sweep everything underneath the carpet and expect everything to be resolved that way. Things would somehow get this exposed, and the kind of energy that's hidden grows bigger and bigger until, like, at some point it explodes. We've been witnessing a lot of the issues, the scandals, for example. I know that Brother Sherab loves to touch upon that all the time. He really wants to bring that up. So maybe he can continue after I speak. But in any case, I think the Buddha has given us very useful methods, and Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh too, this practice of mindfulness. As long as we are mindful, as long as we do the practice and we are mindful of what we speak, chances are actually not that big to run into fight, right? Like Brother KV Soon was also talking about how we should be watching ourselves, whether we have been like transformed in everything we do. So mindfulness of our speech and our motivation as well. I think that's a healthy way, to dialogue. That's why we are here, the Sub projects. We want to create this dialogue platform for Buddhists to talk about issues, to share our views, and to share our practice. So that's all I can think of right now. Okay.
Thank you, Sister Christine. I think you have spotted the issue tonight. Thank you very much. Yeah, Buddhists are peacemaker. I mean, always people look at Buddhists, think we are all peacemaker. People within Buddhism communities are ordinarily polite, and normally will choose to remain silent and neutral in face of situations of conflicts. We sweeping all the disagreement or argument under the carpet. Although we sense the existence of unfairness or malicious act. So yeah, I would like to hear Brother Serap's view as well, because he mentioned about speaking out to the community or to the group. I'm interested to know how far or how loud we could be able to speak out.
I think speaking out is the beginning of facing the issue or the scandals or the bad things that happen in Buddhism mindfully and correctly. but nevertheless, it's still the first step. I think the second step is to how to bring healings, how to heal.
Yeah.
I would say three parties here.
Yeah.
If so, for example, if the scandal happened, the guru or the perpetrator who, yeah, the teacher themselves, and then the victims and the public audience as general Buddhists. These three categories of people is we need to heal them. We need to heal ourselves actually. So if a guru make a mistake, are we able to point out the mistake and bring everything to justice? If there's justice to be served, and also forgive him and help him to move on. So this is the question that we need to ask ourselves, and how to heal the victims of certain scandals or bad issues. This is
Mm.
normally, in general, we Buddhists seldom think about that. As Christie said wisely, we try to sweep everything under the carpet and try to pretend never happened before. I mean, this is not the correct attitude. I think we need to face it,
Mm.
face the truth realistically, and of course, there's full of suffering, full of bad things in Buddhism, but there's also full of kindness, full of solutions. Yeah. So and Master Thich Nhat Hanh also saying, being immersed ourselves in the suffering. Suffering is not enough. There's solutions to suffering. Yeah. We can find a
Mm.
solution to suffering, and just let's practice that, and then mindfully, collectively. I remember in the Bodhisattva vows composed, the 20 verses of Bodhisattva vows composed by Chandra Gomin. It says that if you are a Bodhisattva, if you if you can correct something, and that will bring you temporarily uneasiness or discomfort or inconvenience, but that will bring long-term harmony or long-term benefit to yourself and to others. If you don't do that, then you're considered breaking the Bodhisattva vow. So as a Bodhisattva, if you consider yourself as a Bodhisattva, if you don't do things correctly, if you don't point out the mistakes of a guru or organization of a sangha, with the intention to protect yourself very purely, to have a pure precepts, and not to give harsh speech or not to shaken the harmony of the sangha. Although your intention is correct, but with this kind of so-called superficial intention, they will bring long-term damage to the sangha or to the name of Buddhism, and then you are considered to break the Bodhisattva vow. So this is something we need to think about. So and Bodhisattva emphasize a lot of skillful means, you know, whether what you do can bring the benefit that you want or not. This has to be very intelligently and very creatively applied. Our wisdom and compassion and skillful means. So these three add up. I think we can say we can say we are ready to correct something within our community. Yeah. So before we help to save all mother sentient beings. Why not we reflect upon ourselves? Let's heal our own inner circle first, our Buddhist community. So when there's a disease happening within our community, are we able to look at it honestly and heal ourselves first before we try to rush to help all mother sending beings all around the world? No, we need to start from ourselves, individually and collectively. So this is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Thank you.
healing is the key word here. Healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother Sherab. So you support that we should speak out and take a stand of what we feel what is right, and not just numb our personal value and viewpoint in order to show great compassion and non-attachment. Am I right? Okay, I'm ready to bring this issue to a deeper um, levels. What about our personal faith towards our gurus? Let's say we criticize our gurus, our community, and um, what about our personal faith in terms of the practice? And then, um, um, do you think that will it cause trauma to our faith in this practice of our community? Anyone welcome to share your view on this point?
What will happen if we criticize our guru? Right. Your question.
Yes. And then
We
what
will
are
we'll
the
surely go to hell. That's why that's the fear. That's the fear that public Buddhists, in general Buddhists have. If I criticize my lama, my guru, I will go to hell. So why should I risk myself in doing so? Better just keep quiet. Although in your mind, when Buddhists nowadays, when they say no comment, actually a lot of comments in their head. They just don't want to say it out, but inside their mind and head, a lot of things, a lot of bad things are happening. So I think one thing about mindfulness is that we need to deal with our emotions, because emotions are energy. Whether we have hatred, anger, desire or not, we need to deal with it nakedly at this present moment, this very present moment, and stay with it and listen to the message that these emotions bring to us, and then deal with them honestly and mindfully. I think that's the real, I mean, really correct way to deal with that. Not to suppress it and say that I don't have this emotion. If I have this emotion, I'm guilty. I feel shameful. I don't think this is a healthy way of being a mindful practitioner. I think we need to deal with the emotion as well. I need to understand the emotions of the guru as well, and the emotions of the victim. Yeah. Don't you feel compassion and empathy, empathetic when the victim are left without anyone taking care of them? And the guru also sometimes in this case everybody is suffering in the same situation. Yeah, the teacher who make the mistakes and the victims and we ourselves. From being honest with our current situation. That's a big lie. We are telling ourselves a big lie. Yeah, just to maintain the good image of so-called Buddhism. This is we are breaking the five precepts. We are not honest with ourselves. Yeah, yeah. So I
Thank
think
you.
this is something that we need to consider very mindfully and kindfully. Yeah.
Mm. So you mean that we should go on, even with the price, we may cause a tremendous psychological damage to our faith. Then we have to do a healing to ourselves after criticizing the community. Thank you. I think anybody would like to add on to this point?
I
I
think
think
criticize.
yeah, go ahead, brother Liao.
Yeah.
I think criticize can be a very strong words.
Mm.
If we found our teachers or whatever, or whoever has made some mistake, we can point out in a skillful way. When you say, I don't know, to me, when you say criticize some things, you are criticizing with hatred, something like that. It's just like your children, when you find out your children make some mistake, you just point out the mistake, you actually with the intention that they can correct the mistake. That is pointing out the mistake with compassion, not with hatred. So that's what I think. So if not even guru. Just how you mentioned about conflict within organizations. In Buddhist organization, even those we are all Buddhists, is
I
bound to
think
have.
Comeng's internet is not stable.
Oh,
Mm.
sorry.
Comeng, can you repeat again? Yeah, because your internet is not stable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mentioned just now. Criticize is a very
Strong word.
strong word.
Strong
Yes,
words.
correct.
Mm.
So if we find if we think our master or our teachers or our leaders have made mistakes, then we should point out. We should point out. We shouldn't sweep it under carpet. That one I agree. We have to point out but skillfully, and then with compassion, not with hatred, not with saying that this is my chance to topple leaders. So the way we point out is just like we want to help our children. We want to help them so that they can correct their mistakes. That is my point. Yeah.
I think I can come up. I think I can come up with a new way. We are not criticized, but we are criticizing. We criticize. We criticize kindly. We are criticizing with kindness and mindfulness. So we are
Yeah.
criticizing.
Kindness and mindfulness. Yes, correct.
Criticizing, not
Mm.
I
criticizing.
think there's also one more element now while we talk about kindness, mindfulness, and compassion. There's also the element of wisdom.
Yeah.
Mm.
We need to balance that, and not that we
Mm.
have wisdom completely. You know, we are two teachings come to mind when we talk about society or community breaking apart. Is in terms of communication. The number one is the words we use reflect the mind that we have. To me, there are a few words that sometimes I find personally uh, we have linguists here, so I think it's much better. I don't, I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying that,
No worries.
yeah, if the word mistake,
Mm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
The word mistake is I'm right, you are wrong. Okay,
mm,
is by saying that, how are we following the first precept of the 14 engaged Buddhist precept? Are we holding a view that to say that our view is right, your view is wrong? I think that's important thing. That mindfulness to come in, I think. Secondly, is that sometimes we may have full compassion, we say the right words, but it's interpreted from a different view. You
mm,
know, you say, I may say something
yeah.
nice, but you interpret it as something absolutely terrible because
Mm,
it's all in the
mm,
state of mind. And the state of
mhm,
mind is a
mhm,
reflection of his conditioning, from the past, his emotional state of mind, right? So how do we strike a balance in the middle way? I think we have to, when we look at the practice of compassion, practice compassion is may all beings, be well, be free from suffering, all underlying, stress, or not this or that only, right? So when I say, for example, we have a prayer for Ukraine, we must have a prayer for the Russians and the Americans and the NATO, everyone, because there's so much anger, there's so much pride, there's so much, a lot of things happening. That it's not just one party that
mm,
causes conflict to happen, right? If we are
mm,
in, I think Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh say something about, if you want to be in a position to encourage dialogue, you need to be able to be in the middle
mhm,
and able to be received by both sides. That's why intermediate, moderator, or mediators are always accepted sides, accepted by both sides. So finding positions to intervene in any conflict, whether it's a guru's misconduct, or lack of awareness of certain people and our actions become against the precepts. I think we need to have that compassion and wisdom to be in the middle, somewhere in the middle, to be able to intervene and bring people together. I know it's easier said than done. It's something really, really challenging and difficult to do. I think this is the principle of the middle way, the way we see it, right? It goes back to the mind. It is not about the plot of land, it's not about the oil, it's not about the rope, it's not about anybody, it's about the state of mind. So it all goes back to that. Are we able to watch our breath? Are we able to capture the mind, the emotion, and tame our mind and become better person? I think it boils down to that. So just sharing this reflection with you. Thank you.
mm,
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
I agree with Brother Sun on that we need to
mm,
have wisdom and compassion combined together in dealing with certain issue, especially some negative things in within the Buddhism. But I also think that, like for example, if it is a mistake created by the Guru, we must be honest and frank about. A mistake is a mistake, regardless whoever do it. It's not about the person who do the mistake, but the behavior itself is the one we condemn or criticize or criticize. Okay, and then also we need to think about, like, for example, now the war happened in Ukraine. Of course, we need to pray for, also
mm,
say a prayer to Russia or to other, even to Malaysia also. But the focus, the current situation is that we need to focus on Ukraine because Ukraine is the one who is being invaded by Russia. So yeah, so the focus and the sequence and the emphasis is
mm,
quite totally different. For example, I give another example. Like we say, Black Lives Matter. It doesn't mean that white life doesn't matter, or we should say at the same time white life matter or brown life also matter. So, but at that situation, in that current time space availability, Black life really matters in during that time. Yeah. So I think the focus is a little bit different.
context.
The context, yeah,
Context.
Context,
what
yes,
choice?
correct.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's the right word.
mm,
Yeah. So
Mm.
the context itself is very important, and how to relate, interbe with that kind of situation, uh, wakefully or mindfully, and that's also very important. But I do agree with that. We need to have wisdom and compassion to do it. Yeah.
I think it's
Yes.
if you in the position of peacemaker, you need to find ways to be
mm,
in a position to talk to different people and bring people
mm,
together.
mm,
Sometimes, if I think context, you're right. I do agree, that
Mm,
uh, in the context of the situation, I think
yeah.
in the what do we want to achieve? How do we want to transform society? The moment if you are seen to be on one side, then you lose the ability to communicate with another side, right? So then you need to work harder to gain back the trust to be able to build inclusiveness, and the peace and overcome conflict. So this, like I say, this is also conceptual because is conflict management from any level is very, very challenging. It's not so easy.
True,
Yeah,
true.
but so it's, I think key principles needs to be constantly reflected upon and constantly being brought to our mindfulness practice to see how we can continue to be better in that sense.
I think also
So
we need to have more
it's,
dialogues
yeah,
about this kind of creative strategies,
definitely.
how to handle this crisis within Buddhism. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm sure
Right.
we can play a part on that. We have more dialogues on this, if possible, in the
Agreed.
near future. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for I also remember that many guru has said that wisdom, compassion without wisdom, that would be disastrous. Yeah, I think all of you have mentioned it well. So I'm very pleased that we have these conversations tonight, and we also have um, partly to address the elephant in the room in the context of mindfulness or Buddhism's community to a certain extent. So I think this will be surely to be continued in the near future. Yeah, before we end these sessions, there's one question in the comments. May I read it out so that let's see anyone can help to answer this? Yeah. Also by Somi Go, even cheating, lying, stealing, molesting, scandalous, give another compassion, wisdom to forgive, forgetting that evil's guru. Well, this is not the questions. Well,
This.
this is, it seems like
Cheating,
a
lying,
statement.
stealing, molesting, scandalous, giving another compassion, wisdom. Those
Anyone?
who, for me, those who create this kind of bad karma, regardless guru or not, lying, cheating, stealing, molesting, they need our compassion, of course. They need the most. That's why they're lacking of this compassion and wisdom. That's why they're doing all this wrong stuff. Furthermore, like Siddhi Gaba Bodhisattva, he says that if I don't go to hell, who will go to hell? I will go to hell and save these sentient beings. So yeah, according to the Mahayana principle, yes, they need more compassion and especially skillful means of wisdom to help them, to correct them, or to be mindfully um, remind them about this. And if some powerful or some wrathful activity need to be shown, then we can show it, but with compassion, with wisdom inside, not like Brother Sun said, without anger inside, without defilements, without negative emotions. So that's Bodhisattva job. That's a job of all awakened ones. Yeah, of course we
Okay.
need that. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, brother Sarah. There's one question from Kasang Tashi. He asked if anyone can help me, Master Thich Nhat Hanh talk about a sutra on the net of sensual love. My question is that sutra available in Sanskrit or Pali?
I'm not sure whether Thich Ha talks about this sutra on the net of sensual love. I think he mistaken some Hindu sutra, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. uh, Maybe
Okay.
Brother Liao
Yeah.
and Brother Sun can answer.
Did ring a bell?
Cannot. I also don't know.
Oh,
Unless you give some reference. No
he
idea.
said the sutra on the net of sensual. But I remember Buddha. I think Tinata did talk about love. Did talk about love, yeah, in one of his books.
Thank you.
And he shares some very private kind of, yeah, his personal love as well. Yeah, and he deal with that quite mindfully. I think please read the book. I forgot the title of the book. Yeah, I think okay.
Thank you, brother Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. To end these sessions, may I invite perhaps Sister Christine to guide us on with our final dedications? Would you mind,
Maybe she can
Sister
sing a
Christine?
song. She can sing a song. Tinasa songs. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, All right, I will sing one of my favorite songs from the Plum Village. This is from the poem by Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. And one of my friend used to say that the poem actually is already the gist of the Avatamsaka Sutra because it's about interbeing, interconnectedness. And since Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh has left us, so this song is particularly suitable here today. No coming, no going. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free. Because I am in you and you are in me. Because I am in you and you are in me. May there be no more suffering, no more war. May all beings be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Sister Christine. Thank you very much. Okay,
Beautiful. Thank you, Sister Christine.
thank you. So I think let's make a vows to the four great vows together. Is it all right?
Yeah, I think yeah
Yeah.
the Samisha will come in and yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for sharing your wonderful insights. That was really pleasant to hear you all. Thank you for giving your precious time to us. I hope our audience has enjoyed it a lot. They have got many things to study, to learn from your all inside. So, once again, and thank you all. And before we dedicate merits, I think we have got some upcoming events to announce for next month. Okay, so we are going to have, I think, the part three of Daily Dharma series, which will be moderated by Ram Narula. So the topic entitled is Mistaken Views and Misconception about Buddhism. Our contributors will be Dr. Maria, Dr. Matthias Alvini, Dr. Giuliano, and Vivek Sharma. And I think we have got one more event. Yes, and the second event is the part two of which we conducted today, which is the Miracle of Mindfulness, remembering Thich Nhat Hanh. Uh, I think we have all the same coordinators plus Dharmacharya Chan Hoi. He will be joining us in the next month as well, which will be on 28th March. I forgot to mention that our previous event is on Monday. Please be noted, and at the same time, I guess. And this event is on Sunday. Yeah. And then to wrap up this program, I would like to invite Samiksha to recite the four great vows. Yeah, Samiksha.
The four great vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. May all beings be well, happy, and safe.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks to our audience for joining us. Please stay tuned. Hope to see you all next time.
Thank you. Good night. Thanks to this both
Thank
Samishas.
you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.